All right. What is your favorite hardcore band working today besides yours?
What's that?
What's your favorite new hardcore band?
Like I said, I love
Winter Wolf.
I love End It. Winter Wolf. Yeah.
Off the hook, man.
End It.
Off the hook.
Baltimore.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, there's a lot of them.
There's since the pandemic,
I'm a big
Fire
fan
is
of,
Murder.
I'm a big fan of Billy Club Sandwich, but they're not there yet.
They're like 20 years ago.
That's true, but they're
But
new.
they're cool.
They're new to
cool.
me.
They're my guys. They're my guys.
Our friends.
What do you know? What's your favorite new hardcore band that you are?
All the whole New York, the whole Long Island hardcore scene is sick right now. The fucking, you know.
What that band Come Hammer?
I never
Haven't heard them yet.
Okay.
It's too many bands.
Their
I
name
love-
sounds
you know,
like
I
I
like
want to
to-
punch them.
I like that band
Okay.
Candy
Do
also.
you know who is Ian Ellis?
You know.
Ian?
Yeah.
No, who's that?
That's you.
That's a comic from Chicago.
I do not know them.
Just asking if you knew who he was.
No, I don't.
Okay, are you guys down with Wu-Tang Clan?
We're down with the Wu-Tang
yeah.
Clan.
Hey, you want to hear?
Ain't nothing
I
to
don't
fuck
know.
with.
Should I say this?
Oh yeah, Wu-Tang forever.
Okay.
Fuck yeah.
In 1994, I used to hang out with these Liberian dudes in
Nice.
Staten Island. And, I used to go hang out with Wu-Tang Clan in the parking lot of the abandoned shopping center in their video. We used to
Holy
smoke weed.
cow.
It was cool.
Nice.
That was
That's lit,
94.
man.
And I was the only dude. I pulled up, and one of them was like, "Yo, what's with the white boy in the car?" Because I was in the back seat.
Who was
And I
with
was
me
hanging
when
out.
they went to when they went to what was the big record shop down Tower when they showed up at Tower?
Wow,
I was there. They went to Tower Records. It was fucking mad.
Yeah, it was.
that
I know.
sounds crazy.
Yeah,
It was
white girls
pretty,
taking
it was
off
off
their
the
tops.
chain, man. People were going bananas.
Yeah,
Okay, what
Like
band?
90.
I like bananas too.
What band or artist influenced you the
You like
most?
bananas too.
What was
I like
the
Troll
band or
Bands.
artist that influenced you the most of
Who?
all the music
Say
you
that any
listened
fucking
to?
question.
A lot of them. A lot of bands.
Who?
What band?
Friday night, what you gonna get? Say it, yo, yo. Grab a phone, grab a beer, it's time for Kenny's show. Kenny's young boy, Jerry. You might be Kenny, you might some yeah. It's time for the Kenny show. He don't say much, but you never know what you might see, what you might hear. We heard only once in a to remind him.
What is your first name?
Jasmine.
What is yours?
My name is Jerome.
Okay. What is your favorite hardcore band?
Oh my God, I can only pick one.
Well, New York and not. So pick two. New York and not.
My favorite
Same question.
His band, Winter Wolf.
What?
Easy. Winter Wolf. Easy.
Okay. Full time?
Yes.
Rebel Matic.
Nice. Are there any old bands like Black Flag in the mix?
The thing is, I just came into the hardcore scene like 5 years. I grew up a gospel kid.
Maybe you should take a look back.
But you know what? I would say that I do love the Bad Brains.
Black Flag is the most important hardcore band ever.
I got to study
They
Black
spread the
Flag.
gospel. They are why there is English hardcore. Yeah, they are. They played England and hardcore too. Okay, what do you think of the economy?
Of the economy, sucks. Horrible.
What about you? Sam?
The drizzling, you know what? Yeah.
All right. What did you think when the mighty Boss broke up?
I was so young when they broke up. I only heard one song by them.
Oh, man. Already impressed I get, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Everybody hears Go Get Devil's Night Out and More Noise and Other Disturbances. That's the raw stuff from the first two albums.
Okay.
How did you feel when they broke up?
When who broke up?
The Mighty Boss.
In all honesty, I don't know. I kind of like come to hardcore shows here or there, so I do not have an opinion.
They're like mostly ska, like ska realm.
Who do you think is the funniest person ever?
Richard Pryor.
All right, I'm right there with you. Mel Brooks too. That's my opinion. Who do you think is the funniest person ever?
I would have to say the person from earlier from the Eras, I think Nick. He's hilarious. He's just like
Nick, that guy right there from the
I
era.
mean,
Yeah.
A person that's known. Say that.
Huh?
I mean, a person we all might know.
Harry or somebody like that. Chris
All
Paul.
right, let me think. I think Chris Rock is pretty funny, but I would have to go with George Carlin. George
Good
Carlin.
answer.
Good
I like
George
that.
That's a good one.
Okay, what do you think of the Wu-Tang Clan?
Oh my God, one of the top 5 greatest rap duos, not even duos, rap groups of all time.
And the first brand and the phenomenon.
Mariners Harbor represent. I'm from Staten Island. Y'all can roast me.
I guess you love them too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think of the first, current, and last president? Not giving my opinion on this question.
It's like a car.
All right. Waiting for the guests. Since they're backstage, I don't see anyone backstage. I can see. My end. Sure. Until they get here, give them an introduction. That might stall for time for them to get here. I don't know. See anybody backstage? I guess. Okay, my next guest wrote American Hardcore. Busted some balls and Billie G. King's team tennis era of the 1970s. Wrote in on former Jets writer, founded his New York Rock, had a magazine called Seconds Magazine, wrote about the 45 most dangerous minds in the magazine's history. What else? Wrote American Hair Metal, and then its sequel, Can't Get Enough. Wrote the second edition of American Hardcore, produced the movie American Hardcore, third edition coming out this October. Also wrote When Rock Met Disco, When Rock Met Reggae, When Rock Met Hip Hop, out now. That's the introduction. When were they? So, you know. Okay, I guess that's that. Okay. So waiting for Blush. Uh, Ready? We're down. Nice cross country. All right, trying to stall for time. Who saw that hockey game today? I saw it. It was entertaining as hell. USA won gold. First time in 46 years. I have a vacant memory of 46 years ago. It's pretty cool. It was a miracle. They beat the Russians. Because of the war, the Russians couldn't compete. Well, that's unfortunate for them. Canadians, wasn't 16 years ago they fought the Canadians and the Canadians won? America won. No, you Canadians, you ain't winning this time, Sean. We win. We're the best. Yeah, that's right. You know the rest.
Got me?
You're finally here.
Yeah, well, I had the wrong link.
Okay.
How you doing?
I already gave you an introduction. I mentioned all the books.
Okay.
Okay. Did you know on heavy metal history, since you're just on heavy metal history, it became one of the most famous moments in Grammy history. Metallica was supposed to win. Damn, Jethro Tull won.
Yep.
That's what happened today on heavy metal history.
Yeah. Oh, that was today? Okay.
Yeah, that's became infamous. They went on to win many Grammys, but just not that first one.
Yeah, I remember that for sure.
Yeah.
So what can I do for you, Mr. R?
Okay. Out now, when rock met hip hop.
Yep. There you go.
I can see
Third
it's
in the
something.
trilogy. Yep.
It's something you grew up on.
Yeah,
You said-
living in New York and all that. I was around heavy metal, I was around punk, and I was around hip hop, and I was there for the merger of it all. Be it Run DMC and Aerosmith, or
Yeah, I loved
or,
reading about the meeting of Russell Simmons and Rick Rubin.
yeah.
I think
that's
we're all
it.
glad he was the only punk in his high school, and
Yep.
he got to know what the other punk was all about, the black punk. And
Yeah, he was that was a really good time, a really important time, and nobody could really imagine it back in the day, and now it's really commonplace to combine rock and hip hop. You wouldn't think twice about a rapper playing with a metal band or with a punk band. So
it still happens now. I mean, recently I saw Rebelmatic open up for Giza.
oh, okay. Yeah, I like that. But that's commonplace now, so
Yeah, that's
it was it's all good now that it's happening, right?
right. But at a
we all
certain
like
point, it was unheard of.
Yep. And that's
Right.
kind of what this book is about, kind of fill in the story of how this all happened.
Right. I think it's really starts with Blondie and Fab Five Freddy them hanging out on a TV show, then him getting name checked,
Yeah.
and it kind of takes off from there.
Yep, that's the story. You've done your reading. I like that. So
Yeah,
so it starts with Rapture by Blondie, and
and then
Fab
DJs.
Five Freddy had brought them to the Bronx to go see a show, which nobody in their right mind would go up to the Bronx in those days. But they that was the merger and the name checking of Fab Five Freddy and Grandmaster Flash
Yeah,
and all that. So, but that was,
And
you
then,
know,
I
that
think
was
before we even get a rock box, I think it's the mixing of punks and hip hop kids at the clubs is the background, the bedrock of when rock met hip hop. If they weren't mixed
for
in,
sure.
put
Yeah,
together.
clubs like Danceteria and the Mud Club and all that is really where it
Peppermint
starts.
Lounge.
Peppermint Lounge, absolutely. So yeah, those were known as rock discos because you would dance and you would also rock, you know. So it was a and one thing that was really cool about those clubs was that it was really, really late at night. It would not be uncommon at all to see one of these bands that one of these groups play at 1, 2, and 3 o'clock in the morning. So
Yeah,
you know, it was definitely an exciting time. And but you know, when Blondie came out and did Rapture and all the stuff we're talking about now, that was still basically disco music. That wasn't rock.
yeah.
That was rock like Blondie was rock, but that's not
It was
really.
kind of like rock, new wave, disco, and hip hop all in one place.
Yep.
Like worlds colliding.
Yeah, that's exactly what had happened. And
And pretty soon, Run
Yeah.
DMC would bring the rock box
yeah,
and
Rock
DJ
Box and King of
Sampling.
Rock.
Yeah,
There's so within like
and the
2
breakbeats
years.
like Billy Squire and Led
Yep.
Zeppelin
Yep.
led the
Yep.
way into rock music.
Yeah, you know, this was all happening within like a course of like 2-3 years, where you had you know, you just mentioned a lot, but you had African Bombata mixing the Billy Squire with
Yeah,
with
and then
hip hop.
Time Zone
Yeah,
with,
Time Zone.
with
Yep.
Johnny Rod and John White.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah.
That's probably the first real rock rap record, but that was all the same time as Run DMC with Rock Box and King of Rock, and then
Right.
it was all, you know, again, all within this like 2-3 year period. You got those records, and then you had Run DMC with Aerosmith, which was that kind of genius Rick Rubin collaboration.
Yeah, that.
And then there's the Beastie Boys.
Giant iconic moment. That music video is probably the most iconic music video ever.
Yep. Yeah, I think when they say that it was the most important video of all time, I think they're correct.
Yeah, if they
Because,
said
yeah,
you have one video to send to aliens, that's the
Yeah.
video.
absolutely. Yeah, and that was also it represented a changing America, a changing of the world.
Yeah.
Was what was going on there was you know, there's that video is you see the breaking down of the walls, and that's not just physically but also metaphorically. We saw
Because the
that
worlds are merging.
Yep. the
True.
worlds-
Right away, it will probably do better for the rock group because they're a rock group, but ultimately, it did shockwaves for both.
Yep. Excellent. Very, very good way to put that. It's and it was a really exciting time. I got to hang out with the Beastie Boys a bunch back then, and
Wow.
you'd see them with Run DMC.
Well, back then, you're the DJ, so the DJ is always playing the record, and
Right.
the
Yeah.
artist comes around to see the DJs in the clubs
Yeah. That's
when
how
they're
I.
in between gigs.
Yeah. That's totally how I met these people, and also I was starting to write right around that time.
Oh yeah, Seconds Magazine, and
Yeah.
you're also in all the rest, Melody Maker, right?
Yep. Yeah, I was very much tied in with, especially I guess you would call them fashion magazines, like Andy
Yeah.
Warhol's Interview magazine and Paper
Yeah.
magazine and
Wow.
Details, and so
Yeah.
I got in, because I was a DJ. They kind of gave me entry into their world, and so all those things were happening, and it was just a cross collision of cultures,
Yes.
and it was happening so fast.
Uh,
And then what you had, interestingly, was that's rap meets rock. Then you had, in the West Coast, you had this rock meets rap with the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Faith
Yeah.
No More and House of
And-
Pain and Cypress Hill, and that
Yeah.
all leads to Rage Against the Machine. You
yeah,
know?
and Cypress Hill did that whole rock superstar album.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's also the Judgment Night soundtrack, which I give a
Yeah.
whole chapter to, which, like House of Pain and Helmet, or
Biohazard and Onyx.
yeah, Pearl Jam and Cypress Hill, and
Most of Pearl Jam. Eddie Vedder, I read, did not participate.
correct. Yeah, he didn't really have anything to do with that, because most of that chapter kind of describes, like, a lot of people didn't want to partake in that because they didn't really get it.
Right. And some did.
Yeah, and some did. One thing that I think is the ultimate is on that record is where Slayer and Ice-T and Body Count get together and do a
Yeah.
medley of The Exploited. Right.
Yeah.
So that's really just so far ahead of its time. And that
Yeah.
record kind of inspired what they now call nu metal, which is,
Yeah.
a lot of people rag on it.
largely,
Yeah.
when it started, wasn't all the way accepted, but by
Yeah.
now it's been accepted. I mean, those bands like Korn
Mhm.
and lots of like System of a Down still tour and still
Yep.
sell millions of
And
albums.
Limp Bizkit, don't forget, their DJ was DJ Lethal from House of Pain.
Right, yeah.
So that's another cool angle to it. And you
Yes,
said
true.
System of a Down. And, I'm not the biggest Limp Bizkit fan. I'm not the biggest Linkin Park fan. But, they've sold so many records that
Yeah.
that they're
Wow.
totally part of this as well.
Right before his death, they did start to grow in on me, and I'm sad that he ultimately took his own life. But this happens a lot with the fame edge of it, and
Yep.
when people become rock stars, and maybe ultimately that wasn't their plan. Some people just want to make music, and
Yep.
then they become it gets on MTV, and the whole thing runs away with it.
Yep.
It does happen. People
Yeah,
are
no. Well, I'm enjoying this because I know you've clearly read the book, so you get where I'm coming from with
Yeah,
all
the
this.
last guy didn't really read the book.
Yeah.
Well, you do interviews before the book is out, and then you have to do them afterwards.
Yeah, for sure. But that's it's an interesting time and place for music, and I think I don't think that'll ever happen again. I think what happened with when rock met hip hop, like that was a once in a lifetime thing, and it changed music forever. So
Yeah.
Like
Still,
even
it's
my
still-
publisher wrote that, about this 10-year period from the 80s to the 90s, but it's really much longer than that. Like I'm
Yeah.
talking about, it
It
goes
still
really
kind of happens now. There
Yeah.
are blends, there are hardcore groups and other groups that
Mhm.
open up for hip hop legends.
Yeah.
And
Like how you're talking about
Yeah.
Rebelmatic.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example of what I'm talking about, that this music carry on forever.
and Ramsey was in Funk Face, and that's kind of like
Yep.
a rock funky group.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's so many different tentacles that come from this.
Yeah.
It's, and
Yeah.
it's an exciting time for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's drift down to other books since you wrote so many, right?
I have written a few books. Yep.
Right. What are you adding to the 25th anniversary of American Hardcore, since that's coming out this October?
Yeah. Well, there's about 24. There's about 50. There's somewhere between 30 and 50 new interviews. Be it Dave Dichter from MDC and East Bay Ray from the Dead Kennedys
Nice.
to locals like Ron Rancid from the Nihilistics or R.B. Corbett from Even Worse. So it's kind of all encompassing from that period. There's tons of things that I had to say, things that I had learned, and lots of artwork that I've added to it as well. So
Right. It's been out for 25 years coming up.
yeah.
It's quite a long time, big chunk of time.
Right. And,
that.
sometimes books come out in second editions, which of course
Yeah.
mine did to get to a third edition, but very rarely do you get to a third edition. I mean,
That's true.
yeah. And
I don't think you'll be doing a third edition of American Hair Metal, right?
no, I don't think that's happening. Although that book did, it's funny, man. It's like American hardcore really tapped into people who were very serious about punk and hardcore and all that. And then I kind of burned my bridges a little bit with some of my friends by doing a book which basically attracted secretaries who were into John Bon Jovi. So
maybe they didn't understand you're a journalist. You can't just be like, well, I've known this my whole life. I lived it.
yeah.
You can't always tell that story.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at all my books, they're all of different subjects,
Yeah.
and that's really where I'm coming from. I'm a little ahead of the the common course of music. I don't just listen to hardcore. I mean, I don't even look like a hardcore person. I don't really read as one. But
I don't think I
I'll
do
tell you
either.
this much: with Seconds Magazine in the late '80s and all of the '90s, I was about the only person writing about hardcore.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much any of these bands. I mean, people weren't writing about these groups. They were kind of dismissed, kind of laughed at in a way. It wasn't even, so I speak very clearly when I say, I was the one writing about these bands when nobody else was. I was putting Sick of It All and the Cro-Mags and Murphy's Law and Agnostic Front and putting them into major magazines and my own magazine. So I I've heard I don't who's this guy to write about hardcore? Well, I'm the one to write about hardcore because I was there in the 80s, I was there in the late 80s, I was there in the early 90s, I was there in the late 90s.
Yeah.
And I wrote a book. My book is about the original explosion of hardcore. So that's what I'm writing about. That's what my film was about. That's
Yeah.
That's what the whole story was about. So
Okay. When do you think the director's cut is coming out? Because we've had conversations off the internet about that. When do you think?
yeah,
it's
so
it?
there's a lot of legal stuff involved in the film that weren't involved with the that didn't necessarily apply to the book, and a lot of that is because we signed with Sony. You know, Sony put out that film, so they
Right.
own the film basically, not forever, but they have some serious restrictions on what's going to happen with how they control the film. So, but they
Well, when do they stop?
4 years they won't own it anymore.
Okay, so in 4 years, is that when you're going to push the directors?
Yeah, then we're going to do a director's cut, and
Okay.
I think that'll be amazing because
Yeah.
not only is my writing of that film really strong, but the editing of the director Paul Rackman's really strong. So we you know we
And
we have,
now you're-
we have our back and forth, Paul and I, but we do agree that this film will come out as a director's cut, and that'll be.
And then you won't have some big company going, well, this all looks good, Steven, and it's Paul, right?
Yeah.
But you can't have this and you can't have that. But that's important to us, right?
Yeah.
And then 4 years from now, you can be like, well, nobody's going to cut any of it out. Let's put it all in.
Yeah, that's pretty much you pretty much nailed it. I mean, that's how it's all working, and it's okay by me. I mean, I've got plenty of stuff to keep me busy. So,
sure.
As you see, I just wrote this trilogy with When Rock Met Disco, When Rock Met Reggae, and When Rock Met Hip Hop. I mean,
who brought you the book idea for the beginning of the trilogy? Was this something?
Well, the original idea of When Rock Met Disco was my agent. But then I ran with it from there.
Right.
I decided that, well, if I'm going to write about, because what these books are about.
You came of age in that time period, and from your last interview, I learned that it's not really about a history of disco. It isn't framework. It's about it meeting with rock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's more about the Rolling Stones than it is the history of the Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Yeah, no, you nailed it. That's literally what was going to come out of my mouth.
They're one end of it, and that's highly important. But it's more Queen getting on and getting down and
Kiss and
right and
Rod Stewart and like you said, the Rolling Stones. Yeah, I mean, so it's when I'm talking about reggae, I'm really talking more about how the Clash and the Police, Blondie all did
the Specials
reggae and the Specials. Yeah, it's all.
Then
it's
down
all
to the Mighty Boss Stones.
Yep. You read all this stuff, so and then this hip hop book is not. There's books on the history of hip hop. That's not what my book is.
It isn't a framework. It tells you about the early days a little bit, touches on that, then it gets right into the important things like rock and that coming together.
Yep.
It's a bigger part of it.
Yeah. So that's what that is. So I've got a lot of stuff coming out. I've got this third edition of. I just did this trilogy. I have this third edition of
American
Hardcore. I'm now starting on a book also with Blag from the Dwarves.
Oh, nice.
About their story, about their like totally, deranged world that he comes from.
I've seen them.
Yeah, so you know what you know how they're pretty unbelievable. So
doesn't their shirt say like bloody pussy?
Yeah, blood guts.
I have one of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
So they're amazing, you know. So and the secret about the dwarves is that Blag the singer is really a genius.
Yeah.
He's really like you watch him on stage, you wouldn't necessarily think that, but he really is, you know, he's a very educated, very you know, he's a smart guy. So we're gonna do a really nice book with that.
When do you think, is it just a work in progress now? When do you think that might come out? Or do you not?
That'll be out at the end of next year.
Okay, cool. I'll look
Yeah,
forward
and then
to it. Hopefully there's a book signing because I'd like to.
yeah. So so I'm just starting to work out the signings on when rock met hip hop as we speak.
Okay. All right.
So that's all coming together.
Okay, so when do you think you're having that? Because I still gotta get my copy signed.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna do something at Generation Records very soon.
Okay.
So I don't have a date yet, but it'll be within the month.
Okay, cool.
So that'll be cool. And then there's
I
a
know
Best of Seconds magazine project in the works.
Okay. Is
that's
is there something that goes beyond 45 Dangerous Minds? Is that-
yeah. Yeah,
that's
it's like every article that was ever
Okay.
in the book, ever in the magazine.
Okay,
So
so that's just
that'll
the
be-
best interviews.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
just the best interviews, yeah, but like
Yeah,
every
the best.
interview. Actually, 45 Dangerous Mind is a great book. That's more like our most intense interviews. That's how what we call it.
Yeah.
But this will be like everything we've ever done.
Oh, so
so
you'll-
that'll be end of next year sometime. Yeah,
okay,
again.
and it'll cover the bands you broke, like Soundgarden.
Yeah.
And you broke Pearl Jam too, right?
Yep. And
Rage Against the Machine, right?
basically the Seattle bands and the New York underground bands.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tool, Faith No More,
White Zombie.
Soundgarden.
Did you break White Zombie?
Who's that?
Did you break White Zombie?
Yeah, I did their first interview for sure. You know, and you'll see a lot of the first interviews appear in there. So that'll be
Wow.
somewhere in the next year and a half to 2 years.
Can't wait. I miss
Yeah.
Sound Seconds magazine. Well, I'm not a Manhattanite. I wish I was a Manhattanite. If I could do it all again, I'd be a Manhattanite.
Yeah. Well,
Because
that's
Manhattan is where it
I
all
like it.
happened, right?
life is funny how that works, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Okay,
but,
I wonder where can we go see Gas Wild live? Because he's one of the few that I couldn't find music for.
Gas Wild.
Yeah.
Well, the Love Pirates kind of play every once in a while.
Okay.
He's getting older right now. We're talking about the Lost Rockers book right now. And that's going to become okay. So another thing is that I've been starting to get I've been starting to focus on foreign editions of my books.
Oh.
And I've had a few already. Like American Hardcore has come out in like 5 different languages.
Nice.
But there's like some pretty obvious ones I don't have. I'm in Italian, I'm in French, I'm in Japanese, Polish, and a British edition. But I don't have like a German edition. I don't have a Spanish edition. You know, things like that should obviously be. So I've been talking. So I've been talking with my publisher of Feral House, and
Yeah.
all those books are going to come out in Italian. So
Nice.
we already have. They're going to do the 3rd edition of American Hardcore. They're going to do
Wow.
the 2nd edition of American Hair Metal.
Can't get enough.
Yeah, you can't get enough of
out in all Barnes and Noble now
Yep.
and Amazon, of course,
Yep. Yep.
and all independent record bookstores where you can find them.
Yep. Correct.
Most would have it.
Or wherever you could find them. Yep. So
Yeah.
it's but so there's a lot going on. I mean, I got my
Wasn't there supposed to be a Lost Rockers movie? What happened to that? project?
yeah, that well, that's where I kind of stopped. I had a fallout with Paul, my partner on American Hardcore, is that he worked on it with me and then he just quit. And I just think that that's like, you never quit one of these gigs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you never say you're going to write a book and then don't get it out. The worst thing you could do is to work on a project and not get it done. So
Yeah.
I have a little bit of a beef with him because of that. But regardless, I will do the director's edition of American Hardcore with him as well. So that's kind of the Lost Rockers film is kind of a painful thing for me and for Tony Mann, who worked on it, and who's my buddy.
Well, is there another way to get another director?
I've been trying to, but he's Paul's been a little resistant to that. So I don't really understand his game. I'd like at least hand it over to somebody. Yeah, I like at least hand it over to somebody, that I know. But yeah, that's about the only real disappointment in my career, because that film should have come out 10 years ago. So that really that was a bad one for me. But also with the foreign editions, their New York Rock's going to come out in the foreign edition. Lost Rockers, the book, is going to come out in the foreign edition. Or I mean a few foreign editions when I say that. So that's another thing I'm concentrating on in the next couple years. So there's a lot going on. There's still a lot going on. There's my agent wants me to do rock biographies.
Biographies of whom?
Like somebody like one of these grunge guys, for instance, or like
Eddie Vedder, right?
Yeah, like I the one I'd like to do is Jerry Cantrell.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
he's one of the ones that's still alive.
Yeah, he's alive, and he's a nut,
Wow.
So
well, what else would he be at this point?
Yeah, I know so many crazy stories about him from people. So and I interviewed him a few times. So but anyway, so that's I haven't decided who it is. Another guy I really like is Adam Jones from Tool, the guitar player.
Yeah,
because he's a filmmaker and he's a artist, and he
sounds not nuts like Jerry.
Yeah, no, he's not nuts. Jerry's a nut. So anyway, so don't be surprised if I end up doing one of those kind of books as well.
Okay. What about have you given thoughts to, you've done when rock met a few things. What about when it met classical?
Well, I've had a few people say like rock met country or rock met classical or rock met electronica. I'm kind of like, I like the idea of a trilogy. I'd leaving it at that.
Okay.
I mean, once I do one more, then it's like a series.
Yeah.
I don't know. On most days I can't. I'm very at this point in time when we're talking, here today at end of February. Is that where we are? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm only going to do 3. Whether that changes, it could change. I'm not
All right.
going to
I'm
lie.
saying that there is, I know, source material that you can use if you decide to do about classical, right?
Yep.
It's 100 years of jazz from bop to well. That's
Yeah.
why
I
Roy
mean,
Clark-
and then there's all the, all the rock people who were kind of classical, and the Moody Blues or
yeah,
Emerson, Lake and Palmer, or that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. But that's not my. I never really liked that stuff. So
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I could do a research piece, but these are my. I thought about rock when rock met funk, but that's awfully a lot like hip hop and disco.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of. I don't
It's
know.
kind of the same. It's the same neighborhood.
Right. That's kind of how I feel. So, it's not like I could write about the Ohio Players or
Yeah.
Graham Central Station being like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, or that's like I said. I think we've covered that territory already. So,
Well, when it really met country, it met folk and blues and
Yeah.
rock.
Yeah.
They all got put together.
and likewise, and also basically right now at this period in history,
Yeah.
country music is rock. That's more like the Eagles and all those kind of bands. That they don't really sound like twangy George Jones kind of stuff. They really,
Maybe they did on Desperado.
Yeah.
That's only the second album.
yeah. But in general,
They graduated from that at a certain point.
right. And when you listen to country musicians of today, they sound like that stuff. That they sound like the 1970s rock bands, 70s and 80s rock bands. So
That's true.
but again, I don't know if that's really for me to. I don't know if that's the book to come from me.
Well, if you ever change your mind, we could collaborate on one of them, maybe
Mhm.
one day.
Yeah, yeah. I
I'd
mean,
be more into maybe the country one, since we probably like that more.
yeah. I probably know it more.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I think the When Rock Met Hip Hop is really. I like each of those books in that trilogy got better.
That's true.
And the with rock met hip hop being the best of all of
Right.
them.
And
So I don't think I could. I don't.
And if you're not into everything, you could choose. You could be like, well, it's ruined the reggae. I'll read that one, and you don't have to read the whole trilogy.
Yeah.
If you're way into everything, then you can read it all. If not,
Yeah.
then just read what you're into.
Yep.
It could be kids that are way into corn and go, wow, this is about corn and all the stuff that happened before all that.
Yep.
And that seems like the book for me.
Yep. Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
I label you the expert of experts.
yeah. Well, thank you. I think I am.
Yeah.
And not just that's not me. That's not me talking shit. That's just I just think that I've created a new style of rock writing, and it's it's all like rock meets something. Even Lost Rockers or New York Rock is a form of that.
Yeah.
And so I'll just keep continuing with the path of what I've told you about.
Right. Do you think you'll ever bring back your interview series, Art of the Interview?
Well, I've thought about it, but I think I think I should have done a podcast.
Oh,
And I understand why my live performances were really good, but that was
you can always,
I couldn't make any money on it, so
yeah,
I was losing money on that.
you
So
could always redo it as a podcast.
yeah, I mean that's a possibility. It's a possibility. It's like I just I think I kind of I read the market wrong. I think I saw it as
It was fun to go to, but sometimes there'd be an ice storm, and
yeah,
yeah, like what happened to me.
yeah,
Right. And you'd be
yeah,
like,
yeah. So
yeah,
yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, so that was kind of the problem with it.
yeah.
But was it good? It was great. That was a
It was
great
great.
series.
It was
Yeah, that
great
was a great
coming to
series.
it. But it
And
would have been great also if like you missed the live.
yep,
Here's the online podcast version.
yeah.
That would have
Well,
been nice to have
that
too.
would have been the thing to do.
Yeah.
It's still a possibility. I mean, a few
Yeah.
people have talked to me about it. But like I said, I think I missed the mark on that one. I think if I was just a podcast all along, it would have been more successful. So,
You
but
could always
you know,
revive
the one thing that I find is you just have to. It's kind of like a band. You just have to
Yeah.
try all sorts of different things, and some of it works and some of it doesn't. You know,
True.
and I'm okay with that.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. When Rock Met Reggae, was that like you already had one book of the trilogy and you just ran with it? Did the idea come from somewhere else?
Well, I was always a reggae fan. I have a huge collection of reggae records, like the originals,
Wow.
and I really liked. I always used to love hearing like a Clash song and then realizing that it was a cover.
Yeah.
Like in other words,
Like
and
Pressure Drop.
that goes for all these groups. You
Yeah.
know, like you find out that like, boy, that was a great song, but it wasn't their song. Like,
But even like the original ska artists, they
yeah,
would cover R&B classics. So that
right,
was
right.
even their song.
Right. Like, you know, and like the band Madness, like every one of theirs was like a cover of Prince Buster, you know, doing
Or Desmond Decker.
or Desmond Decker. Yeah. I mean, so
Yeah.
all of these and the Specials, they were like a cover band, you know, or the Clash on Sandinista and London Calling. Like I knew a couple of those songs were covers. Like I knew like Pressure
Yeah.
Drop, you know, on that 10-inch record.
Yeah.
Like I knew those songs, but
Rudy Can't Fail. Rudy Can't Fail was a cover.
right. That's a perfect example. So I used to love like discovering that. So I applied that vision to a book, and that's really where that comes from. Yeah.
Yeah. And I still haven't seen every single movie, but I saw The Heartache Come. I saw Roots Rock Reggae, great movie about the studio.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah, and if
That's
you
a
read in that
story.
book, I talk about all of the movies.
Yeah.
You know, and like a lot of them I hadn't even seen when I wrote the book. I had to actually go see them so I could
Yeah.
talk about it. But
The Clash movie is really good. I like that
yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, Rude Boy.
Or another roadies.
Yep. Yeah,
Close to
yeah.
all.
And one thing I really like, a section that I like in that book, is that DJ Scratchy from the Clash talks about all of the songs that were covers. You know, and that's the kind of I want to learn something from writing a book. You know, so you know, I just constantly am. My thirst for knowledge doesn't stop, and I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna retire. You know, I'm close to that age where most people would think about retiring, but
Well, I heard you on,
I'm not retiring. I'm going to do this till I die. So
I heard you on that podcast. You love what you do. You don't
Yeah.
make a lot of money, but
Mhm.
people that love what they do usually don't.
Yeah. Yes, and that's an important lesson to pass on. Is that, like, I remember, I don't know if this was the podcast where I was talking about this, but because this is a topical subject for me.
Yeah.
But there was, you know, I've run into people from high school and college, and they've all been what you would call successful.
Probably
But-
worth millions, right?
Right. And they're jealous of what I do. You know what I mean? So I guess
Because
I win.
they're like, I've made a lot of money, but Steven, I hate my job. That's what they're saying to you.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah. And that makes me
Because
I'm not,
probably their
I'm not,
thrill was,
I'm not laughing at their misery. I
well,
really
probably their
mean that.
thrill was working their way up the ladder.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm now vice president, right?
Yeah.
And all right, look at me. I got the champagne. I'm sniffing the best Coke or whatever they're doing,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Then they become president, and then it becomes work.
Right.
It's
And
fun.
they're miserable.
right.
You know, they like I'm and also, you know, just so basically in general, I've just discovered this with people, that they can't wait to retire, or they're miserable with waking up every day and having to do the same crap all the time. So I don't have that. I do. Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't make enough money to be able to talk about how successful I am, but I feel like a success. You know, I feel like I wake up every day. I work at least 10 hours.
Wow.
You know, and
Oh, before time runs out, I wondered what, since you were in the clubs in the 80s and 90s, a DJ, right? And you'd be on one level, Moby would be on the next level, like D-Light would be on another level.
Yep.
What kind of DJ were they when you like a 10-minute break and you got to like be like, all right, guys, I'm gonna play
sure.
this
Well,
song.
because I would go check them out. I would go check out all the DJs, and you know, DJ Red Alert, who was the big Hot 97 DJ. You know, like all those kind of guys. I'd go check them all out, and they're you know, you talk about Dimitri from Delight, and he rocked the party. That's what he was about. He was about party
Okay.
rocking, and that's what Delight was about. Delight was about rocking the party, and
What about Moby?
Moby's was a little more serious. You know, he was you know, it was a little more intellectual, let's say.
Okay.
You know,
Was-
and
was
then me, I basically played everything but what the hip music was at the time, but I would make a great party mix. You know,
Okay, so you had to rock the party.
Yeah,
It's
I
got-
was more with the Rock the Party. Dimitri was like Rock the Party in kind of a club music kind of way.
Okay, what about? Did you ever check out Cool Hurt? DJ Cool
Yeah,
Hurt.
I would often share like I would spin half the night and Cool Herc would spin or Grandmaster Flash would spin.
Wow.
So I would literally be, right at the same turntable.
Were they like the party DJs, or were they more serious, like Moby?
I'd say they were somewhere in between. They were very serious, and they were also historical. They were historical in their music. You know
Right,
what I
right.
mean? They played more of a, they would play music that they were known for.
Okay. Yeah.
And quite often I would, like, they would DJ, like I would DJ till midnight and they would DJ after midnight, or sometimes I would DJ, after midnight and they would DJ before midnight, depending on what it was. That was usually in terms of those were usually parties.
Right.
Like you were working like a record company or
Right. I did tell a DJ that I'm friends with on X that if they're ever around and they have all night after Halloween, they got to see you spin. So they should contact me and I'll get them in.
Yeah. I do rock the party. I got to say that.
Yeah, but you got to it's worth staying up all night for.
Yep. Yeah. And here I am, on Halloween. That's the only thing I do right now. And it's fun for me. There was a time where DJing became a chore. And I slowly, it was hard for me to DJ, regularly at clubs and also to be a writer. Because I would just have like my brains would get beaten into, just being at a club. So whatever, to each his own. I've had experience, I feel like I've had experiences and all these different ways and all these different parts of the music business. And I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of that. And I'm really proud of the books I've written, the films.
Where did the idea for New York rock come from? That
came from my working in clubs, and seeing a lot of these bands perform early in the night, that kind of a thing.
Okay.
So, and also it's because I was I was always not always, but for many years I was like a glam rock / punk rock, kind of person. So that's what that book's really about. That is in some ways my story of New York. New York rock is in many ways my story. And going to clubs to see bands and working at DJs spinning music.
Right on. I'm wondering if I one day could get a glimpse of your collection.
Yes, you can.
I wanted to see it.
Yes, I would be glad to hook you up to see that.
We've all seen part of it because your collection is a discography in American hardcore. It's only one portion of the collection.
Yeah.
And sometimes in these books we see records, but then there's records we never get to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've got the collection, no doubt, and I'd be happy to show it to you.
Okay, that'd be awesome.
Yep.
And I get also glimpses of it at the DJ shows that you do at Brian's house. I've heard some of this, so that's a step into the collection.
I don't know if you've noticed, but in the past, couple of years, certainly since you've been coming, I play
Yeah.
almost exclusively 7-inch vinyl.
Yeah, I've seen it. Well, I think I saw a little bit on the digital, but
Yeah.
very, very few and far between.
Yeah. So it's really hardcore. That's a very active kind of thing. Like you got to be ready,
Yeah.
every 3 minutes with another song. So
Yeah.
it keeps me active doing it. So yeah, I mean, DJing, look, when I was 18 years old, I wanted to DJ and collect records and hang out with rock musicians, and I got to do that. So
Yeah. Sometimes I wish I was a Mahanite and I was close to your age. I
yeah.
probably would have done the same.
Well, I'm not ancient, but I
know.
probably got a few years on you, I'm sure.
I mean, I'm jealous since the heavy metal history. You got to see Zeppelin.
Yeah. Yeah, that first show I ever saw, Led Zeppelin and
I'm
Madison
too
Square
young to
Garden.
do that. Oh man.
Yeah. That was wild. That was it was a dangerous kind of thing to be at. People throwing M80s into the audience, those like, stuff like that. So it was a crazy time. And yeah, and then I very soon after that discovered punk music, which I learned. Well, I'd been to England on a high school exchange program, which had a lot to do with it. But also just reading the New York Times and reading about Lou Reed and the New York Dolls and Patti Smith,
Right.
and realizing that there's this whole other world out there. And
I had a different four-way into it. I was kind of more into heavy stuff first.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
all find our way, and then we're like, wow, I only made it all that, but
Yeah. No, you've you
it's
know your
all
music.
it's all about the Misfits and Black Flag and all that.
Yep.
I gotta go hear that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's it's every path is legitimate.
And it's different.
Yep, for sure.
Okay, what was your favorite interview from the magazine that you did?
David Bowie, because
That was a good one in the book.
yeah, and he was. I like the kind of interviews where, like, there's a lot of bullshit in the music business. People think that people get confused between interviewing somebody and being their friend.
So they're not the
'cause
same.
you're
We're
not
actually
really. They're not.
friends.
Yeah, they're not your friends.
Yeah, but
these-
we're actually friends. But if I was sitting here with, like, let's say, not you, Paul Stanley, I'm not
Yeah.
friends with Paul Stanley.
right,
Maybe
right.
maybe
so-
I met his manager. As manager said, all right, I'll set it up.
Exactly.
Right.
So
Then
so
you're
don't
sort of
confuse
friends
yourself
with
that you're
them.
friends with these people, but
You're sort of
I-
friends with the manager. It's a business friend thing.
Yeah.
But you're not friends with who they're setting you up with.
yeah, or when you're with them for that 45 minutes,
Or whatever.
yeah, for however long it is,
Yeah.
they're doing their promotion, and you're there to help them do the promotion. So David Bowie, David Lee Roth, Gene
Nice.
Simmons, guys like that, they would be your best friend for like an hour, and then you would walk away and that's it. So those people the people I just mentioned really understood that relationship.
Yeah.
And they were very clear on it. And like David Bowie, you would do an incredibly deep interview with, and then you'd say goodbye, and that's it. That's it. So, you're not their buddies. People always
Right,
ask me, who are you friends with? And I'm like, I'm not friends with any of these people. That's because, and if you think you're friends, you're kind of a fool. you know, because
haven't you become friends with like the Misfits, or is that wrong?
well, but that's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, Glenn Danzig's very cool when I'm with him.
Right.
You know, Henry Rollins is very cool when I'm with him, but you know, they're not thinking of me.
They're not gonna be like, hey, I'll call that guy next week.
Yeah,
No.
no, it's not like that. Right. So
Right.
I think I've got it right that of how this works, but most people don't. Most people have it, you know, they confuse.
I don't look at, like, you remember I interviewed your pal Rick Fox, right?
Mhm.
And his buddy Ron. I don't look at I'm now friends with Ron Keel or anything.
Right.
I look
Well, it's
at
the same kind of thing.
what Ron did me a favor. It was nice, and I'm not gonna call him next week and go, hey, you're gonna be in New York. No.
Yeah. No, it's just that you had this interaction with them,
Yeah.
and it, however it went, you know, it's fine. It's just fine.
Yeah.
But don't confuse it with friendship. You
No.
know, and I'm not saying you. I just mean everybody. Like, don't confuse this thing about relation. Like Seconds Magazine, every issue is just filled with name or up and coming musicians, but that doesn't mean like Josh Homme, who from Queens of the Stone Age, who I've saw quite a lot in my life. That doesn't mean that's my friend. That's
Right.
somebody who I worked with.
Right. I want to know. Well, some of the audience want to know in all the famous people you knew, who was like the biggest douche?
LL Cool J.
Wow.
He was just a jerk. He was just a real jerk. I can't. He just didn't even. You know, if you don't look somebody in the eye when you have a conversation with them, you know, so
Yeah.
he falls into that. He fell into that category. Whereas DMC from Run DMC is
Daryl McDaniels.
yeah, is the real deal. You know, he's and it's not just because he did this recent record with Agnostic Front. It's because he's cool that he was receptive to Agnostic Front. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
So,
mean, I saw.
he's a cool guy. He is a cool guy, but again, like I have his phone number, you know, in my phone right here. But it's like that's not my friend. You know, it's not, you know. So you just have to be careful with that stuff. I remember interviewing the guy from the Moody Blues, Justin Hayward. He was kind of a jerk. But we had nothing in common. You know, I was just some guy interviewing him.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would probably put LL Cool J ahead in the douchebag category.
What about didn't you just recently have a fallout with the guy that owns the Steelers? What was his name?
Did I say that in an interview?
No, I think we were last time on the sports show.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, you want to know why? Because I did a birthday party at Jesse Mallon's club, the one that used to be 171 Avenue A. And he was a real jerk to like all my friends there, and I just I'm not going to stay friend. I'm not going to. I was friendly with him because I was friendly with his wife, and you know we would spend like New Year's Eve together or something like that. So that's a friend.
Yeah.
But he
I guess
he
didn't
dissed
like
my
the punk.
he dissed my friends, and I decided I don't want to deal with a guy like that.
I guess he didn't like the punks.
No, he didn't like the punks. He didn't really respect it, and
Yeah.
and yeah, a few people had actually. Well, it's not important. It's just you don't diss my friends and me just take it.
Yeah.
So that's but he's very famous, and good luck to him. I'm not even mad at him. I'm just kind of just wrote him off.
Right. Okay. Where did the idea for the Lost Rockers book come from?
I've always been fascinated by musicians who you know their work, but you don't know who they are.
Right. Like, the hit song that some rock star had,
Right.
but it's
Yeah.
not really a song they wrote. It's a
Yeah.
song some person that kind of got.
Or they wrote a song that was famous, and somebody else did it and was more famous for it.
Right. Or stole it.
So
Right.
I'm still really fascinated by that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I'm not happy with how the Lost Rockers film didn't turn out.
Right.
So because that's a great story. It's a great story. All these people, they were friends with Andy Warhol, they were friends with Motorhead, they were friends with
Yeah.
Tina Turner, they were friends with Joan Jett. But
Right.
who are they?
But sometimes just having that friend and the friend's famous doesn't always work.
Right. Well, that's isn't that what we were just talking about before?
Yeah. Just
so-
like, what about that case of Gloria Jones? She's married to Mark Brolin, right?
Yeah, right. She's married to
Being
Mark
married to a
Brolin.
rock star doesn't always help you get in the door either.
Yeah, I mean, she did the original version of Tainted Love before Soft Cell did it.
Yeah.
So, right. So there you go. Or Jake Holmes wrote Dazed and Confused that Led Zeppelin ripped off.
Yeah.
So, and everyone's like, who's Jake Holmes? So, so I'm always been fascinated by those kind of stories anyway. So that's how that was the impetus for the book, Lost Rockers.
Okay. Yeah. I said that book signing. Yeah, I mentioned Gas because he was like the most rock star looking one.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was buddies with Lemmy.
Nice.
And
that's cool.
Yeah, and Lemmy's in I have the only film that Lemmy was in that never came out. So
was it supposed to come out?
Well, they're supposed to be in Lost Rockers. I mean, we interviewed Lemmy for Lost Rockers.
Oh.
But yet that movie's not out. So
hopefully before you go away forever, it does come out.
Yeah. Well, that's still what I'm hoping for. It's still the plan.
I love
never quit on a project.
Right. I'd love to be singing in an independent theater at the premiere of the movie Lost Rockers.
Yep.
Well,
we showed it once at Lincoln Center, and we sold out the entirety of that theater, which is a very, very big theater, and yet the film didn't come out. So, yeah. So, hope I didn't give away too much on that, but that's a real pain to me. Yes.
Yeah. This has been fun discussing it. I really gotta take a piss. I'm sorry.
Yep. That's okay. Well, I think we covered it. We did over an hour, so I hope people get something out of it.
All right.
So
I know you're on Drew Stone's thing. Like what? Early March, right?
in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I unfortunately will be going to Jersey, see Murphy's Law and the Pie Tasters.
Okay.
Yeah, so I won't be able to see that, but I'm gonna watch the replay.
Great. Yeah, please do. That'll be good.
I
And
definitely-
I'm a fan and friend of Drew.
I am too.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
catch most of his shows. I'm always
Yeah.
in the office watching.
Yeah, of course. Well, that'll be a great one.
All right.
So,
Thanks for doing this. Thank
yeah.
you, Worldwide Sports Radio Network, for letting me stream it here. I hope you enjoy the replay. And it's streamed on mine too.
Yeah. Let me know replay or whatever. I'll spread the word on that as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, folks.
You got
I'll
it.
see you
Take care.
around.
Yeah, all the best.
And let me know about when those signings are.
Yeah, of course. I'll give you. You'll be amongst the first to know.
All right.
Okay.
Doing this.
All right. Take care.
All right. I'm gonna